Good morning, Vietnam! On this Wednesday evening, it maybe already is morning in Vietnam, and here we are already in the early minutes of this short qualifying second race of the second season of the mainstream racing series. And this is, yeah, we are a little bit late. We are already 3 minutes into the qualifying as the MRS has decided to go with a league format in the next season, and this brings up a few technicality struggles if you want to broadcast the gameplay, at least for me. And so this is the reason why we are a little bit late, and we already see the first guys here on their each hot lap. And let's get in some information. We see already 3 gray names. Actually, we see 4 gray names. Thomas Walsh was sadly already disqualified. Further, we see 3 guys who are gray because of a qualifying ban. They did not obey to the wheel to the tire compound rule in our season opener in Hungary, and so they were punished by the stewards with not being able to qualify here today. Thomas Walsh is disqualified, so he will stand behind those who have a quali ban. And we are still with the second Mercedes, Ryan Price, who is here in the last sector. You already see the walls are close. This is the race of walls, if you can say so, because in Hanoi there is not one square inch of grass, not one gravel pit, nothing but walls. So you cannot commit the slightest little mistake here tonight without risking to hurt your nose, to lose an end plate or some winglets. And yeah, Hanoi is a very special track. Hanoi should have been new to the 2020 race calendar, but yeah, you know what happened afterwards with pandemics. The race got delayed and in the end scratched at all, and will not be in the game will not be in the real life race calendar in 2021. So it will not be on the next game, and the racetrack itself is very difficult. It's very unrhythmic, and therefore not really very pleased among race drivers, virtual race drivers, and therefore a lot of people just dislike or disagree to train this track, as it's not gonna be on the new game anyway. And yeah, so this is my, I don't know, 4th, 5th broadcast from Hanoi, and maybe my last one on this game and on this track then eventually too. So the track has always featured very action-packed races. It was always very, very crowded, very action-packed, very, very exciting in the end for the audience, for the watchers, not for the drivers. And yeah, so let's just see how our MRS mates will deal with it. We see Andrew Mond and Katie Lay, that's Kantan. I always have to look up the new names still. And they had their first hot lap try on mediums, so in case they should qualify into the top 10, they can start on the medium. But as far as I have seen, as far as I have endured in my offline career, Hanoi has always been a two-stop strategy race. So starting with mediums can give you a little bit of flexibility, but it's not like other tracks where you automatically go on one stop, medium to hard or so. This is a bit different here today, and I would like to think that a lot of drivers will just expect to go with the safety car flow, and yeah, we will see what Andrew Mond and Mercyman, no, Andrew Mond and who's it? Grimo in the end will do. The two medium runners at the moment. We see Nevis Ikic and to the E our reserve driver who's reserving for Stephen Hodgetts, Mr. Scuba in the Alfa Romeo here tonight. We have not seen a time posted yet by our vice champion Peter Simo Simpson. Here he is, taking the curb here very aggressively in turn 5. And going out onto the monstrously long straight. It's actually not a real straight. You can see it on the minimap. It's rather a bow, a very long right-hand bow. And the big and main DRS zone there, of course. But the fact that it is rather a bow makes it very hard to time your attack and to use a lane to make your opponent know which lane you're gonna use, or on the other way around, the defender to let the attacker know which lane you're gonna take. And so a lot of accidents happen there. This could be some spot we have to watch in the race then. And where does the time stop for Seymour on his first shot? Maybe a little bit of a touch here in the end, but nevertheless, he has posted a new pole setter time, blasting everyone by almost a second. Mikko Caruso, the rockstar, the only one who could stay more or less close. And so 8 minutes left. Mixner, that's Jack Rocknan, who is on a hot lap right now. Maybe let's have a look what he's doing. Jack Rocknan, the Torpedo Jack, who was already called Mazda in this week in another league's race. I actually expected Monster to be rather a Mazda, but okay. Now we have two Mazda, Team Mazda maybe. Jack Rockman is on the long straight. Sector 2 will end after the upcoming hairpin. So a few hundred meters left, and then we will see what's gonna happen for him time-wise. 92 thousandths of improvement for him, and in this unrhythmic last sector you cannot have anyone in front of you. This would impede you so heavily, but whoever it was ahead went to the pits, so that was rather okay. One right-hander left, and time will stop in 4th best, improving himself by 7/10, pushing him into 4th. But still 1.4 seconds behind Simo. Yeah, Simo, who lost the championship in what can only be described as a most dramatic way. Just 6 or 7 laps before the last season ended, he threw it all away. And Simo had a great season opener, pole plus victory last week in Hungary. And Simo looks very, very motivated here in this new season, as he by now looks like the safe pole setter. 6 minutes left to change that. But Simo is on a good start in this season, I would like to say, thus far. We see now Jarne Vandebril in the Ferrari pushing into P3, but still 8.5 tenths behind Simo. Plus K delay. Kantan in the Williams in P2. Oh, we've seen a touch here by the Mazda, but he's already on his in-lap, so not a problem at the moment. Dominic Walsh, our reigning champion, on 7th position and standing in the pits right now. Further, one very interesting thing I would like to say, we see David Lawson, our host, in P5 in the Red Bull. And David Lawson just received a new wheels and pedals for Christmas and did a bit hard to adopt to it, and eventually now has thrown it out of the living room again and does now race back on the gamepad. And have a look, he's standing in the top 5 here right now on the gamepad. Very interesting development. So let's have a look at the one who's in last right now. That is Martin Ward, teammate of Lawson, but it looks like he is on an in lap back to his pit crew. Does he come back to the pits right here? No, he did not. So maybe just a second out lap. Maybe, hopefully he has enough of gasoline with it. No, it was a mistake by the game. He was improving himself. He did not lose time. He found time, but still in P13 at the moment. But with 3:45 left, I think it might not be enough for him to return to the garage, get fresh tires and get on track again. So I would suppose Martin Ward is finished on P13 maximally. Behind him, Mark Goodman on an outlap, likewise to Sergio Vasquez, the third new man in the MRS who had not a good opening weekend for him. But okay, it was just the first event, still 21 left in the season. 21 including tonight, of course. So for the moment, let's have a look what Mikko Caruso is doing. Improving himself by 3.5 tenths, but had some troubles there in turn 10. He's here in the unrhythmic last sector. Let's ride on his shoulder a little bit. It was a bit of a mistake. And can he make his improvement last? Or how much time did that maybe cost him? Last right-hander here, and no, he lost it all in the end. He improved by 8 and something tenth, and in the end no improvement for him. So I suppose Mikko Caruso is finished in 4th right now, while we see the 3 guys ahead on each out laps. Now let's have a short glimpse what Blake Gary is doing in the second Williams. At the end of sector 1. And he found a 10th. But he needs to build on it. He's got to find some more. Let's have a short look about torpedo check here at the beginning of sector 2. Cannot tell you whether his lap is good or not, but it looks like in this long stretched hairpin it did not look that good for him. But for the moment, let's focus on the pole run. Caruso is finished, we know that already. Jarne van der Brill, is he still on a hot lap? Let's see whether time stop in sector 1. No improvement for Van der Brill. What is Kantan and Simo doing? Simo here at the end of sector 1. Still found a 10th. Already up by 7.5, but found another one. And Kantan right behind him. Here he comes towards the end of sector 1. He needs to find a lot of time. Oh, and have a look. Half a second almost his improvement. So the comparison to Simo might be under pressure here. Lawson meanwhile is finished. Oh, Simo lost it. Simo has thrown it away. No improvement possible for Simpson. And what is Kantan doing? Let's have a short look at Dominic Walsh. Does not look good for him right now. And Kantan still the 4.5 tenths approximately his improvement. That is good, but would not do anything to him because he's 7.5 tenths behind. So he needs to find 3 more tenths here in this last unrhythmic sector, turn after turn, wall after wall. Little bit of a lock tire, but okay. I would like to think he didn't leave the racing line, and in the end Kantan is second. Kantan improved by almost 6 tenths, but it was just enough to crawl closer to Simo but not overtake him. What is our reigning champion doing? Dominic Walsh does not look good for him at the end of Sector 2. He is only in P7. That's not where he wants to be, I suppose. And in the end, P5 found 3 tenths in the last sector. 5th position. 3rd starting row for our reigning champion, getting closer, at least a bit closer to the front runners. Who is maybe still on a hot lap. Torpedo check is in. Mercyman Martin Ward is on his way in. Andrew Mond is finished on P14. Simon Gustafsson is finished on 13. So I would like to say this is it for the moment. Our starting grid should be full. And congratulations to Peter Simpson for the 2nd pole in the 2nd event. So this is the final result. As mentioned, Simo in the pole, then Kantan, 3rd Jane Vanderbrill, next to Mikko Caruso, 5th Dominic Walsh, 6th David Lawson, 7th Zemixna Jack Rockney, and P8 for Leonard Cam, P9 Mike Taylor, 10 Blake Gary, 11 Ryan Price, 12 Mercyman, 13 Goziga Zimper, 14 Andrew Mond, 15 Sergio Vasquez, 16th Mark Goodman, and the rest had a quali ban or got disqualified. That's Dikila, Stefan Williams, Nevis Ekic, and Thomas Walsh. So the weather looks quite good, rather fair weather, sunny sky over Hanoi. Our drivers have half a minute left to get their setup loaded or changed a little bit, and their strategy on, of course, and I will be back shortly. So the session timer has ticked down. Here we go into our installation lap of the 20 laps race. And first sight always is the weather. That is fine. Second then is the tire strategy. Oh, have a look at that. Didn't expect it to be that kind of clear. As or that kind of split actually, because the top 10 need to go on the tire they qualified on, so softs of course from the qualifying, and then from P11 on everyone is on a different tire except Thomas Walsh. Just while I talk about it, here is the tire strategy presented to you by the Amazon Web Services. And P11 Ryan Price and backwards have opted for mostly mediums, everyone running on mediums except the killer, that is Ricky Kuao, and Thomas Walsh in the last position running on softs. Okay, interesting. Totally different approach from the top and the bottom 10. And let's have a look about Ricky Kuao, if or how much his disadvantage will be from the start, because the hards have a lot less grip of course, so he might have some troubles in the early get-go, and yeah, we will have an eye on that. And Simo has really rushed through this installation lap. The last driver is hardly out of the last hairpin, hardly over the long straight, and Simo is already near his starting position. So the grid is forming up. The last driver will be a Racing Point. There he is, Thomas Walsh. Last one to search his starting box. So, the Grand Prix of Vietnam in Hanoi is about to start. We have a go. The Grand Prix is on. Good start for Simo, and Kantan rather bad. Dropped some positions, and in the background everything went rather smoothly. There's a virtual safety car, so there was some incident in the background. We see some debris flying off here from the killer, and we see a penalty for Monster and Leonard Cam. But I did not see a big reason. Oh, there is a big reason. We see Sergio Vasquez, who is lacking a front wing. Totally destroyed front wing for Sergio Vasquez. So we have seen 2 or 3 new drivers struggling in Hungary. That was Sergio Vasquez and Ricky Kuao, and both struggle here too, because Vasquez does not have a front wing at all, and the killer Ricky Kuao does have a wing left, but not that much of aerodynamics left on the wing. So just some repetition from the first racing event for those guys. Back to the front. Simo has won the start and stayed in front, stayed ahead. Jarne Vandebril made up a position against Kantan, who we are riding on board here with. And right behind, Nico Caruso, not far away either. Oh, there's the attack. Is this an attack? Went rather easily. Looks like Vandebril has some troubles here, some problems for Vandebril, because he gave up the position so easily. And the next attack from Dominic Walsh against the Mercedes of Caruso. The table is confused like always in lap 2, so please ignore the up and down on the left hand side. As soon as we are in lap 3 it will be okay. And now Van de Bril under attack, or at least under pressure from Dominic Walsh. Dom Walsh, one of the winners from the start, had not have a good qualifying, but at the end of lap 2 he might be on a podium position already. He is through. He is. Yes, he is. Have a look at this big train behind him now. Van de Bril. Then Caruso. Then Lennartkamp. Then Lawson. Then Jack Rockney. And all of those guys are more or less inside each other's DRS window. DRS will be activated at the end of this lap. Well, we now see the third time the tire strategy, so yeah, we know it now. And DRS is activated now. There is the notification from race control, and P4 until P10 are all inside one big DRS window, so this will be a huge DRS train on this one long straight, on this long DRS bow. And we see, who is it? Blake Gary, who was very close to Rocknairn before this DRS zone, but now everyone can activate the drag reduction on the rear wing, so it's not an advantage or disadvantage for anyone. And problem will be for Walsh, Dominic Walsh, the only one of this group who cannot get some extra pace on the long straight, and this DRS zone is long, viciously long, if you are the only one who is not DRS equipped. And we have a VSC, oh, Mike Taylor is out. Mike Taylor, there happened anything bad to him? There he is. Ooh, bad position for him. Mike Taylor standing in an awkward position there. Probably he lost it either when braking or when accelerating for the hairpin. Let's see. Andrew Mond will be too far away to show it to us again. The track marshals work very fast on this game, and this is just an example what I said earlier. You cannot commit a mistake because the walls are closed and your car is wrecked then. So now we're back to green, and you see the first pit stop from Mercyman Martin Ward. There he is, as he is running on mediums. This is not a scheduled pit stop. There's a fresh nose for him, medium to hard, so he will try to run long on this stint. And we have seen a collision. Oh no, D-Killer is only killing his nose here. Vicky Kuao needing another early pit stop. So he will hope for a real safety car very soon, that he can catch up to the field, catch up to some action on the racetrack. We have seen this position swap between Blake Gary and Torpedo Jack. Jack Rocknairn torpedoed ahead over Blake Gary. We are back to this one huge DRS train I already mentioned, and this is the front row of this train. Dominic Walsh against Jarne Van de Bril, and as long as they are battling and lose time, therefore the guys behind will always stay close, so this train will never end. Here is the vision of Mikko Caruso, who is close to Jarne Van de Bril, but as long as Van de Bril can always activate DRS2, there is not a big advantage for him, even though it seems like he's able to zoom into his rear here a lot on this short DRS zone. Blake Gary in the pits. that was very early, even for softs. So maybe, yes, he stopped from soft to soft. That means he had some front wing damage too. First new ring for him. And here at the end it looks like Caruso is closer to Van de Bril than Van de Bril is to Walsh. Yellow in sector 3, there is some orange car, can only be a McLaren, and Vasquez is out! Vasquez is out! What happened to him? His car should come up right at the next turn. Here's still the yellow flag, and there is, oh no, standing in a bad position there. Ah, that is sad. After not a good first weekend, he is already second. Oh, and Simo lost! No! Oh no, Simo lost the lead due to the wrecked car of Sergio Vasquez. My goodness, he lost an end plate, so he will probably box now for a new front wing. Yes, he does. He's cutting the last 2 turns, so we have a little bit of an advantage here when coming into the pits, but this advantage will be gone as soon as he will have himself a new nose. That costs a lot of time. Ah, is that evil? Is that evil? Sergio Vasquez was about to get vanished from the game, and in the very last moment Simo ran into him. Not by much, but it was enough for him to pick up damage. And have a look, he's dropping positions, drop and drop and drop. He'll return to the track on P12, it seems. Leonard Cam behind him was in the pits too. So Simo back on track on fresh mediums here, right behind Simon Gustafsson. Yeah, the race isn't over for Simo yet, but this will totally shuffle his strategy, because with mediums right now he cannot go through, and probably he cannot make these mediums last long enough to go on softs in the end for his last stint. So he probably will have to run mediums and mediums now for the rest of the race, and therefore will be slower than if anyone else should go on softs on the last stint then. That's a lot of ifs and whens, but this is the big disadvantage for Simo in the late stages than in the race, I assume. But okay, we will see how things evolve. For the moment now he needs to try to get through Williams and Goodman ahead as fast as possible. He cannot make them cost him even more time now. Yellow in sector 3, that was the last turn. What's happening there? Was some red car somewhere? Dominic Walsh! Oh no, it's Dominic Walsh! Oh, Dominic Walsh probably has spun in the last turn and now needs to do one full lap on a damaged front wing, and we've seen it's not only damaged, it is totally off. There you see it, it's totally off, completely no front downforce for him. Oh, so both our champion and vice champion in intense front wing troubles here, while we see what's happening there. We see Tom Walsh, what's going on with him? Usually I would say, in the real life world, I would like to say he might have an engine failure or gearbox is damaged. Oh my goodness, and Leonard Cam ran right into him. Leonard Cam ran right into the rear of the not really forwardly going Racing Point. There he is. Oh, didn't I say that Hanoi is always very intense? So what's going on with Tom Walsh now? Car is working again. The broken self-repairing Racing Point engine. Tom Walsh is back, so he had some connection issues, and yeah, I hope that he will rewatch the stream tomorrow and see what just happened in these havoc 30 seconds when he was out. Oof, a lot of stuff going on here. So, back to Dominic Walsh. Yeah, he made it. He crawled back to the pits on his damaged Alfa Romeo. I suppose especially the last sector was really evil for him. These fast turns with no front downforce. So he's just the next one who will drop a lot of positions. Similar fate as Simo had, just a lot more vicious as the length, how long he had to run on the wrecked car was a lot longer than for Simo. And all that, let's have a look at our front rows. All that brings Kantan into the lead. Very comfortable gap. As soon as the standings will be updated, you will see that there's some 9 plus or maybe even 10 seconds now in front of his real life buddy Mikko Caruso, who is in the pits. 7 laps was enough on his qualifying used softs. Let's have a look what he'll do here. Fresh mediums, yes, yellow color on the rubber. Fresh mediums for him. Behind him, the Mixner, Jack Rognian serving a penalty first, and then he'll get himself fresh mediums too. That brings up Brian Price and Stefan Williams a few places, and Simo already back in 5th. And so let's have a look. Kantan in the Williams. What will he do now? He actually needs to react. He actually needs to come into the pits here right now too, to limit the undercut of Caruso and Rognian to only 1 lap. And then we will see. He has the disadvantage of the undercut, but the advantage that he can see now which tires the drivers behind have opted for each next stint. I would like to suppose that he will go with mediums likewise. Aha! And picks up a penalty. Kantan plus 5 seconds, speeding in the pit lane. That will probably not cost him the lead, but will shrink the gap that he has. There is his pit crew, and it's mediums, yes, red to yellow. He did not serve the plus 5. As far as I know the game, he will probably serve the plus 5 seconds then on the second stop. So for the moment everything stays just as it is. He is 6.5, 7.5, gap building up again, 8. 8.1, 8.2 seconds ahead of Caruso. That was almost 10, so you can see the result of the undercut got Caruso closer by almost 2 seconds. But now Kantan needs to stay just in this shape and have the gap by 5 or more seconds, and everything will be fine for him at the end of the race. Here we see Stefan Williams, who is close to Ryan Price, but maybe the bigger problem, the fact that Mr. Simo is close to him likewise. For the moment he is in attacking mode. DRS opened against Ryan Price. Will we see an attack here? Does not look like. No attack, no. Still too far away. But he came closer to the Mercedes ahead. Ryan Price ahead. Simo in the mirror behind. In the next turns, it is very evil to run in dirty air. The game simulates that very well. Let's stay with this three-man fighting group here for a moment, but we see Ryan Price and Williams simultaneously enter the pits. They have started on this set of mediums and they shake them off rather quickly. I suppose you could be able to run on mediums a bit longer, but maybe they have used these tires from some early battles already very evil. And Ryan Price stays ahead. Aha, Price medium to medium, while Williams goes medium to soft. And troubles, more troubles coming for Seymour. Seymour left the session, but not because he doesn't want to be with us anymore, but because he has some internet connection issues. That is a big problem for Seymour. We know that his internet connection isn't the best in his home, and there is some more troubles coming in for him right off this course. I cross my fingers that you can come back and return to us as soon as possible, because you can see how slow the AI is driving the car. Lawson already very close. David Lawson will probably overtake the AI driven car here very early. Very aggressively taken, and therefore he picked up a 3 seconds penalty. And Seymour already vanished, already 2 seconds behind Lawson here. Next one to overtake the AI-driven Seymour is Jarne Vandebril. And Seymour pitted. The AI said, "Okay, I want a pit stop." Yeah, well, it doesn't look too good for Seymour, and I mentioned he is very motivated for this new season. I need to refresh nose. He is very motivated. We can all see it. We can all feel him being into this really much. But I can understand this is a big bummer for him. I hope, I just still cross my fingers that he can overcome this. So let's have a look. Where is some action going on? As we did not see a safety car yet, a real safety car yet. We have a very far away, very stretched out grid here today. Let's just crawl through a bit. Here we see Mark Goodman, Grimo in the Alpha Tauri, one of the few hard runners here right now. And Blake Gary, who had already 2 new noses needed in P14, so the chase for points isn't over yet, but doesn't look too good for him right now. Still half a race left for him. Next pit stop for Tom Walsh, and not only a pit stop but a pit penalty. Too late on the brake. In lap 13 with just 3 laps old mediums. That does not look like a scheduled pit stop. Yes, new nose again for him. And Blake Gary is out. There's a yellow in sector 3. Do we still see him? Oh. I suppose he just stepped out of his car. I cannot depict. He's in the pit lane, yep. Blake Gary retired in the pits, so he thought he does not have any chance for anything left in this race, and therefore he has retired. So right now we are here with Mercyman Martin Ward in P16 on fresh softs. He needs to make these tires last. No, he needs to make these tires work. I would like to expect him to have another stop on softs later then to finish the race. 14 laps, he cannot make this set happen, but twice 7 laps, that would work very well on softs. So let's have a look back to our leader, Kantan. Very comfortable lead, very comfortable race here for him today. .5 seconds away from Mikko Caruso. Yellow in sector 3. And there it is. The first time we see the real safety car. And Kantan already missed the pit entry. Let's see. Caruso does not pit either. He does. Caruso does. And I would like to suppose if he still has a fresh medium set, he will finish the race on it. Torpedo check. Torpedo check. Stays out. Oh, that was a mistake. I would like to think this was a mistake, but okay. Lawson in the pits. Van de Brill. Still far away. Oh no, he's already beyond the pit entry. Van de Brill does not pit either. Lawson in. Caruso in. Williams in. Ryan Price goes through. Simon Gustafsson into the pits. Andrew Mond pitting. Grimo will probably not pit on his hards. Maybe he will try to make these tires last. He does. Even Grimo does. Tom Walsh, very silent race from him, just pitted. He will crawl up a lot of positions now and will still have a fresh medium set, so he does have an advantage right now, crawling up all these positions. Then Grimo, yeah, now finally the pit crew works on his car. Ricky Coau pitting, Nevis Ikic likewise. And now I see it, Mercyman is out. Martin Ward has crashed. He was the one who caused safety car with a crash in sector 3. So, and Nevis Ikic with a fresh nose, no fresh tires, used hards. Nevis Ikic, maybe he didn't have a fresh set of mediums left, so he needs to finish the race on hards. So, Kantan did not stop, Jack Rocknan did not stop, Van de Brill did not stop, Ryan Price did not stop. I would like to say those guys are the big losers. I know Rockstar Caruso did stop, but he already has 1 lap this set of mediums, so that's okay, I think. Kantan couldn't stop. He was already beyond the pit entry. He just couldn't come in when the safety car was already out. But Rocknan and Van de Brill, they could have stopped. Pricey too. But they decided to go through, and this will be a big disadvantage in the end, because they still need a stop. They cannot go through on this set of mediums they run on right now. And when the safety car is in 1 or 2 laps, then the field will be very, very packed together. And then, when they pit, they'll drop all these positions and have hardly any laps left afterwards to repair this damage. And all that, yeah, who will be the guys with the big advantage? Maybe Stefan Williams, but softs. Williams will have the best tire on the restart. But from now 12 plus this laps, wow, that's really long. That is really, really evil. I think the longest runner from the start on softs was, I think, 8 laps. And now he will need to nurse them for 12. Ooh. Same goes for Andrew Mont and Mark Goodman, of course. Monster and Grimo. Dominic Walsh, 2 laps old softs. I doubt that he can make them last either. So he might have a big disadvantage on long term too. And now Van der Brill pits. Now Van der Brill in the pits. Ooh. So he will be last then. He is in last position now. Let's stay with him for a moment and see if he will finish on mediums. Yes, fresh mediums. Still had 1 set left. Will he be last in the end? Doesn't look like right now. But still, he dropped all the positions. He dropped out of the points. Back on track on P10. Okay, 1 point left for him. So I suppose that safety car will be ruled back in. And then we have Khan Tan, Torpedo Jack and Ryan Price, who still need to pit. And haha, so this might be, maybe this will be a race win fought and battled for between Caruso, the rockstar, and Stefan Williams. Williams will definitely have the better tire on the restart, but then, yeah, will be questionable if he can make the tires last at the end of his stint. The safety car is in this lap. So all these question marks and possibilities around the tires we push aside right now and focus on what is important, and that for the moment is the restart. Kantan here in the last sector is pacing the field and warming up his tires here right now, and then to one moment he will try to surprise his real life buddy Caruso and try to pick up the pace and run away. Maybe, I think he might already did that. A little bit of a braking issue here, and in the last turn he should still be safe, I think. Yes, no attack possible for Caruso. And behind the Ferrari of Jack Rocknan, too far away either. Then a little bit of a gap to Ryan Price. Stefan Williams then is close to Price. Lawson in 6. And already a bigger gap to Tom Walsh. There's Simo, still not sure if he's with us or if it's still the AI. Then Dominic Walsh and Van der Brill very close. Van der Brill will try to make up some positions. Simo is out. Simo is out and probably will not return. Dominic Walsh almost crashed into the AI Simo, and there was a contact. Andrew Mann touched the rear of Van der Brill. No troubles for Van der Brill, but maybe some damage for Monster. There is the attack from Van de Bruyl against Simo, but that was easy prey for him. Van de Bruyl now will try to stay close to the soft runner Walsh. He needs to stay inside the DRS window. Behind we see Andrew Mont pushing ahead of Grimo. There's some racing action going on. Grimo, Kuao and Ekic. Everything fine for the moment. Let's see how they get through the last sector altogether. We see one driver into the pits, Andrew Mons, needing a new nose after the tag of Van de Bruy's rear. So this is Simo, still troubled, will be ranked back a lot. Very sad for him once again, but okay, let's focus on racing action. Tom Walsh close to David Lawson. Tom Walsh, who did not have a good qualifying, started from last position and is now back into the points on P7. That's actually rather good. And ahead is Lawson. Lawson losing it almost losing it on acceleration, and then having to submit to Tom Walsh, giving him P6. Tom Walsh from last into 6. No DIS yet. Next level will be activated. Always a bit of acceleration troubles for David Lawson. Just a reminder, driver I mentioned who came back from a wheel back to gamepad. So, and Simixna, the Mazda, in the pits. That will give Stefan Williams P3. There it is. Simixna, Jack Rocknan, one of those who I mentioned who committed the mistake of not pitting behind the safety car, and he will now finish the race on softs. He will have a tire advantage against more or less everyone, but have a look how far he drops. P13 now. Yeah, he probably will stay there. Yes, for the moment. No, one more position he dropped. Okay, got that back. So P13 from 3rd to 13 just because of a wrong pit stop timing. And what surprises me a little bit is the fact that Stefan Williams is 5.1 seconds behind the next one, even though he's driving on softs. And there was the next crash for Tom Walsh, and he spun. Oh, that is a really bad position he's in. This is the long stretched hairpin where he spun probably on acceleration, just the same that we've seen from David Lawson one lap earlier. So Tom Walsh, who was unable to finish the race on this set of softs now, needs to stop anyway. I think his nose is damaged. Yes, it is. So it looks like both of our reigning champions will not earn points here today. Simo is in a bad shape, and Dominic Walsh, after 2 front wing crashes, just the same. So let's focus on our top trio again. Kantan still not pitting, but Rockstar Caruso is close. He is nagging. He is almost about to get into the DIS window. And I'm still wondering, Stefan Williams dropped 1.5 seconds since we left the camera of him. And even though he's running on a faster tire, so I didn't expect that. And now DIS zone, yes. The Petronas is looking up in the sky. Caruso in the DIS window, and crawled up by half a second almost on his real life body here, just on this one long straight. So this will be the battle for the lead, but actually, yeah, on the track it will be a battle, but in theory actually it is not, because I doubt that Kantan will be able to go through, and even if Kantan is still carrying a plus 5 seconds penalty, so as long as Rockstar Caruso doesn't throw it away like he did in Australia last season, he will be given the race win in the end. Stefan Williams can just not go the pace, over 7, almost 8 seconds now behind, even though he's on a faster tire. So I expected him to attack and then maybe drop back at the end of the stint, at the end of the race, but no, he cannot even attack, so he will need to try to make these tires last long enough to bring home P3, but as long as those two guys do not shove them each other off the track, Williams will be cemented in P3, and the next DRS zone is about to come up. Those two guys, they have a party going on. They give each other information in the background during the race, and now those two party members will battle it out for P1 here, 6.5 laps before the end of the race. Kantan is fast. Kantan looks very fast on the straight. No attack possible for Caruso here, but he still has a lot of laps time, and actually I'm very sure he knows it. He's smart enough to know that he just needs to stay right where he is. He can just race until the end right here in Kantan's DRS window, and then will be given the race victory because of the plus 5 seconds penalty, which Kantan, by the way, picked up when speeding in the pit lane. He braked too late for the pit lane, so yeah, very unlucky. Let's have a short look what else is going on, as we see by Jeopardy, or maybe here Jarne van de Bril being close to David Lawson. And let's stay with him maybe for the next DRS zone. One eye I always have on the gap between Caruso and Kantan. Does not look like as if Van de Bril could attack. There is some other battle group going on here. Rocknan against Ricky Crow. Ooh, late lunge! Oh, late lunge ahead from Torpedo Jack. Now you know why this is his nickname. Oof. Luckily, Kuao saw him coming in the window, in the rear view mirror. And have a look, Van de Bril got ahead. In the long DRS zone, Van de Bril had the push ahead, while Rockstar Caruso did not. Caruso still behind Kantan. And Rocknan ahead of Goziga Simper too. So Jack Rocknan is really getting the best out of his softs here in the end. Here we are on his TV pod, sitting on his shoulder. Next one ahead. The next prey is Grimo Mark Goodman, but he is running on softs too. Wow! Another late lunge ahead. Wow, what a sequence here for Jack Rocknan. Yellow in sector 3. Who was it? VSC deployed. VSC, I cannot see who it is. The little dot is moving again. Maybe it was Andrew Mont. Yes, I think it was Mont. And there is totally no downforce on the front wing anymore. Coming into the pits, in need of another front wing. Luckily just a VSC, not a full safety car. So the gaps are frozen. Everyone has to obey to sector times now. and that halts Jack Rockney and fight through the field here for a moment, but I think his fight is ended now. He's 8 seconds behind David Lawson, even though he has a tire advantage, but he will not close the gap. I think in the last 4.5 laps that he has still time left. Yeah, and it is very, very hard to obey these sector times without losing time. And losing time is just what Caruso did. Mikko Caruso, the rockstar. You can see him now at the roundabout 9/10 or second mark gap behind Kantan. And yeah, he's getting closer now again, but he was away a lot further. And that was because he was too slow actually in the sector times, in the VSC limit times. Let's stay with Guziga Simpa here for a moment. Oh, Grimo touching the wall in something like a copy of the Wall of Champions from Montreal, and this might have costed him an end plate of his front wing. Let's have a look. Yes, it is damaged. Grimo has front wing damage and will be easy prey then for Ricky Kuao, especially in the last sector. Maybe already now. Let's have a look. Kuao attacking here, wheel to wheel into turn 4. And yes, it worked. So Grimo easy prey and dropped 2 positions in 1 lap right now. And let's have a look ahead. What's happening here after the DRS zone? Still no attack for Caruso. And Stefan Williams has dropped the position. Stefan Williams has dropped off the podium. Thomas Walsh, coming from last position, had a very silent race, but a good one, and is now in 3rd. And Stefan Williams with his old softs, likewise to Kantan on his old mediums. Their times will drop now. They will hardly be able to put up competitive lap or sector times, and therefore will be easy prey for attackers. Stefan Williams is 3.5 seconds, 3.3 now over Jarne Vandebril. The tires of Vandebril are a bit older already too. I'm not sure if Vandebril will close this big gap in only 3.5 laps left. So Williams might be safe, but he lost already the first few tenths on Vandebril. And we see what's going on here. Kuao close to Guziga Simpa. This battle is not finished yet. For the last 3 laps, let's get in the penalty situation. So search for your favorite driver and have a look where he might finish off. And in the end, now Kuao pushing ahead of Guziga Simpa. But Simon Gustafsson just needs to stay within 5 seconds, because that's right, the penalty seconds amount of D-Killer. And yeah, Kantan, Ricky Kuao and Mark Goodman, Grimo having a +5 on their account, +3 for Andrew Mond, and a 5 +3, so 8 for Lawson and Nevis Ekic on P12. And maybe now the attack is imminent. No, still not again. 2 laps left for Caruso. If he maybe wants to get this settled on the track. Winning a race is cool, but winning and earning it with overtaking on the track is always a little bit more of satisfaction than being ranked ahead because of a penalty. Let's see which option he will choose. Play it safe, stay where he is, and being granted the inaugural win for MRS. Or will he try to overtake his real life buddy and then nag him with this all week long until next Wednesday? He's getting closer, but again, no possibility for an attack. He is getting close, and Kantan is hurting his tires even more with locking them up. Both drivers with a little bit of lockup, so they both are really nailing it. They both are racing on the limit here. And have a look. Simixna, Jack Rocknian, he made it. He closed the gap to David Lawson. Rocknian, the one who was crawling through the field here on his fresh soft. Maybe a little bit of a wall tag there for Kantan ahead. Maybe. Last lap. The last lap is on. Let's have a look. Oh, Kantan has front wing damage. Did I see this right? Yes, there is an end plate missing for Kantan. So this is another big disadvantage now for Kantan. This still is the battle for the lead. We all know it. I mentioned it already a few times. Rockstar Caruso will be given the race victory if he doesn't throw it away here in the last lap. But I am very sure, as far as I know him, that he will try to get this P1 on the track from his real life body. The last DRS zone here for him. The last time that he can open up the rear wing and maybe attack. No way ahead. There is no way next to him. Just in the very end, but better lane here for Kantan. Now the next turn would be no chance for Caruso. No chance for Caruso, and Van der Bryl overtook Stefan Williams. Counter attack. Williams will stay in fourth. Williams is and stays fourth. Van der Bryl is close, and Torpedo Jack overtook Lawson in the end. Coming closer and eventually even overtake him. And here are the last two turns for the real life friends of Kantan, and Kantan gives Rockstar the lead that he already would have gotten. The race winner of Hanoi, Mirko Caruso. Congratulations to Caruso, and likewise to Kantan, finishing in second. Great race for Thomas Walsh. I cannot repeat myself often enough. Coming from the last position and crawling up even onto the podium. Fourth, good result for Stefan Williams. And fifth, Jarne Van der Bryl. Van der Bryl and Rockstar started next to each other. Then Simixna, our Torpedo Jack. Very good final stint for him, crawling up multiple positions. David Lawson, good result. Some important points for him back on the gamepad. Then first points likewise for Ricky Kuau. 2 points for Simon Gustafsson in the 9th position. And the last point is being granted to Ryan Price. Not over the checkered flag is Andrew Mont. There he is now. Yeah, and we finish the race event right with him, and Rumond has finished in 14th. So here is our podium, and Caruso, who almost got it done in Australia in the last race of the first season, gets it done in the second race of the new season. Congratulations to him and all the guys celebrating with the virtual champagne here. So here is the final result after penalties of our Vietnam race. Rockstar Caruso has won it in front of Kantan and Thomas Walsh. 4th, Stefan Williams. 5, Jarne Van der Bryl. 6 for Simixna, Jack Rockney. And 7, then David Lawson. 8 for Ricky Kuao, 9 Goziga Simpa, 10 Pricey, 11 Grimo, 12 Nevis Ekic, P13 only for Domwash, our reigning champion. P14 Andrew Mont, only P15 for our vice champion Simo. 16 is Mercyman, 17 Blake Gary. All those guys did not finish. Gary, Leonard Kemp, Sergio Vasquez and Mike Taylor. So with these final pictures, I want to say goodbye. I want to bid my farewell here as Hanoi. I mentioned it maybe / probably the last time I have held a broadcast from the Vietnam Metropole. I need to have a look into our race calendar, where we are gonna head next. Let me check real quick. On March the 10th, we will then head to China, so almost like it was planned in the real life calendar, Vietnam and then China. And this will be then on next week's Wednesday. The stream always starts around about 7:20 p.m. of UK time. I will try to be a bit more on time than next week. For the moment, thanks for being with us, and yeah, I hope you liked it just as much as I did. I'm Zeb Bauer, glad you were with us for tonight, and hopefully see you again next week. Stay safe until then, and keep racing.